Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial we're going to make a halter top that has a granny square detail, as you can see on this part of this top that I've already made. You need yarn. I'll be using the yarn Winter King, and it's a medium weight yarn, then a 3.0mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a darning needle. Begin with a magic circle, like that, then chain 3. The chain 3 acts as our first double crochet. Next we're going to place 2 double crochets into that circle. Then chain 2, go back into the same circle with 3 double crochets. Chain 2 again, go into the same circle again with another cluster of 3 double crochets. Chain 2, another cluster of 3 double crochets. Chain 2 again, and another cluster of 3 double crochets. So in total you should have 5 clusters of 3 double crochets. Then pull this tail, pull the tail, and then chain 2, and then after the chain 2 we're going to slip stitch onto the third stitch, the third chain of the first chain 3 stitch. So count 3 and slip stitch, and that's row 1 done. Make sure that you have 5 clusters. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next we chain 3 to begin row 2, round 2 that is, and turn. Go into this chain 2 gap that you have right here with 2 double crochets. For a total of 3, because the chain 3 acts as our first double crochet. Then chain 2, go back into that gap, go back into the gap with 3 double crochets. We want to move to the next gap, and to do that we chain 1. So here you're chaining 1, not 2. Chain 1, go into the next gap with 3 double crochets. Chain 2, go back into the same gap with 3 double crochets. Next chain 1 and go to the next gap and put 3 double crochets. Place 3 double crochets into that stitch. Chain 2 and 3 more double crochets into the same gap. Chain 1, skip over to the next gap and place 3 double crochets. Chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. Next we're going to chain 1 and we'll skip over to the last gap and place the cluster of 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. We are at the end of this round, and to complete the round we're going to chain 1 and slip stitch onto the chain 3 stitch on top of the chain 3 right there, slip stitch, and we're done with round 3. So we're going to chain 3 to begin round 4 and turn. Start with 2 double crochets into that gap right there. Chain 1, skip over to the chain 2 gap and place 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the same stitch. Chain 1, into this gap we're going to place only 3 double crochets. So the chain 1 gap gets only 3 double crochets, then the chain 2 gap gets a cluster, that is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the same gap. So we're going to continue with that pattern till we get to the end of that round. Remember, where there is one chain 1, you're placing 3 double crochets. Where there is a chain 2, you're placing the 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets into the same gap. Then chain 1 into the chain 1 gap, 1 double crochet, not 1 but 3, chain 1, then the cluster or the shell, 1 2 3, chain 2, go back into the same gap with another 3 double crochets, then complete this round with a slip stitch on top of the chain 3 stitch, like that. And there we're done with round 3. As you can see, we have our 5 corners, and you're going to maintain these corners. And to make sure that you maintain the corners, at the corners you place the shell, whereby you're putting 3 double crochets, chain 2, and another 3 double crochets into the same gap. Let's begin round 4 with a chain 3, then turn into this gap, place 2 double crochets to make it 3 double crochets, and then chain 1, skip over to this other gap, which is a gap that gets the shell. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the same stitch or into the same gap, and then chain 1, then 3 double crochets into the next gap, again chain 1, another 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 gap, chain 1, 3 double crochets. This is a chain 2 gap, and so it gets 3 double crochets, chain 2, another 3 double crochets, chain 1, into this we place 3 double crochets, chain 1, next we have 3 double crochets, then again we chain 1, then the shell into that chain 2 gap, so this is basically what you're going to do, and you're going to repeat that for a total of, let me see, a total of 6 rounds. So I mean round 4, and so I'm going to do 4, 5 and 6. So go on, repeat this pattern. It's a very simple pattern. All you need to remember is place a shell onto where you have the chain 2 stitches. That is 3 double crochets, chain 2, another 3 double crochets. Wherever you only have a chain 1, you're placing just 3 double crochets. So go on, make your rounds, and I'll meet you once you're done with round 6. I'm done with my 6 rounds, and this is what I have right here. So I'm going to chain 1 at this point and cut off the yarn. Get the pair of scissors and cut off the yarn and fasten. Then we're going to be working on 2 of these ends. So start with the slip knot, then attach on one of the corners of that granny square. It's not a square, it's a pentagon, so just slip stitch at one of the corners, chain 3, and we're going to work double crochets onto each of the stitches. So on top of each of the stitch we place a double crochet. When we get to the chain 1 stitch, we also place a double crochet into that gap. So go on placing 1 double crochet onto every stitch, including the chain stitches, until you get to the next corner stitch, and then I'll show you what to do next. I've worked my double crochets up to the corner stitch. Into that stitch I'm going to place 1 double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet into the same gap, like that. And then I'm going to continue with 1 double crochet into every stitch till I get to the next corner. So this is what I have right now, and we're going to move on to the next row. So chain 3 and turn to begin row 2 of the main part of the halter top, and each of the double crochet is going to get just 1 double crochet. When you get to the corner where we placed a double crochet, chain 2 and a double crochet, you're going to do the same thing. So make sure that you're placing just 1 double crochet into every stitch, and make sure to place a shell of 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet into the corner or at the center of our stitches. The middle part, and I'm going to place the 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet into the same gap, and then I'm going to continue to the end with just 1 double crochet.
The last stitch of this row is the stitch on top of the chain 3 stitch. So go into that stitch with a double crochet, and we are done with row 2, chain 3, and turn to begin row 3. And row 3 is worked the same way as row 2. All you need to remember is that the chain in the middle gets a double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet.
Determined by the length of the top that you want. So at this point, I have my desired length, and therefore I'm going to work on each side on their own. I'll work on this side, and once I'm done with this side, I'll attach the yarn and work on the other side. So to begin the next row, which is row 13, I'll chain 3 and turn, then work 1 double crochet into every stitch, and then I'm going to work a double crochet into every stitch until I have 2 stitches remaining, and then I'll show you what to do at this end. I'm 2 stitches away from the middle part, and therefore I'm going to skip the 2 stitches and I'll work a double crochet into the 10th stitch. So double crochet right there, then chain 3 and turn to begin row 14. So remember, we are working on one side. Once we're done with one side, we'll move on to the other side. So after the chain 3, I'll skip 1 and 2 and into the third double crochet, and then work 1 double crochet to the end. When I get to the end, I'll chain 3 and turn and work till I have 2 stitches remaining on this side. So I'll meet you when I'm coming to the end of row 15. So this is row 14. I'll work row 14 to the end, then work row 15 up to this point, and then I'll show you what to do next. So at this point, we're only reducing on this side. This other side remains the same. I'm coming to the end of row 15 and I have 3 stitches remaining, so I'm going to skip these 2 and then double crochet into the last stitch right there, chain 3 and turn. So we are flattening this part, and then now we skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and double crochet into the third. Continue with the double crochets to the end, and then work the double crochets back to this point. I've done a total of 10 rows with the reduction on this side, and now I'm going to be reducing on both sides. So right here, I'm going to chain 3 and turn, then I'll skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, then into the third one, double crochet into the next until I have 3 stitches remaining. At this point, I'll skip these 2 and then double crochet into the last stitch like that. Then you're going to chain 3 and turn, skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, in the third one, double crochet. At this point, I have only 2 stitches remaining, so I'll double crochet into that last stitch, 3, then double crochet right here at that point. So we have this straight edge on this point like that, and this is the point where we're going to place our, it's going to look like this. So these are the points where we're going to place our straps. So this side is done, and what we're going to do is chain 1, turn, then we're going to work half double crochets into this stitch. We work into this first one, we work 1 half double crochet, then into this gap 2 half double crochets, into the next gap 2 half double crochets, then 2 into the next, like that, and we are at the corner. So at this point, I'm going to put 2 half double crochets at that corner stitch, and then turn to this side. We want to do our edging on this side up to the top. So on each of the rows, I'm going to place 2 half double crochets. So on this first row, place 2 half double crochets, then into the next 2 half double crochets, the next gets 2, and I'm going to repeat this till I get to this point. 2 half double crochets into each of the double crochet rows. I've worked my half double crochets to the top row, and so I'm going to continue with the half double crochets on this part that has the granny square. So begin with a half double crochet into that space, and each of these stitches is going to get 1 half double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Then into the gap, 1 half double crochet. So basically you're just placing 1 half double crochet into every stitch until you get to this corner at the top. I'm at the corner stitch, and at that point I'll place 1 half double crochet. This is what I have, and at this point I'm going to attach the strap, one of the straps. So begin with a chain of 3 and go back into this stitch right here with a double crochet, then chain 3, go in between these 2 stitches with a double crochet, chain 3, in between the 2 with a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and I'm going to repeat this until I have a total of 60 clusters of 2 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll keep going until I have 60 of them. So 1, 2, 3, then double crochet, I did a total of 70 clusters instead of 60 because I felt like I needed the strap a bit longer. And at this point I'm going to chain 1 and cut off. I'll cut off the yarn, then put a knot very close to the stitches. A tight one, and cut off the remaining tail. So this side is done together with the strap. What we're going to do is I'll attach the yarn at the middle part and work this other side the same way we work this. So begin with a slip knot and attach the yarn at this point. Then chain 3. After the chain 3, we're going to skip 2 stitches and into the 3rd stitch, double crochet. The next stitch is going to be a double crochet all the way to the end, and we're going to work reductions at this middle part the same way we did on the other side. So for a total of 10 rows, I'll do the reduction and then come back and show you how to continue. So let's do that. You can rewind the video back to where we worked the reductions so that you can remind yourself on how to do that. I've worked the 10 rows reduction on this other side, and therefore I'm going to reduce on both sides now. Start by chaining 3. Turn, skip 2, double crochet till you have 3 stitches remaining. Then skip these 2, double crochet into the last stitch. Chain 3, turn, then skip 2, double crochet, then double crochet into the last, chain 3, and then the last double crochet is going to be so. Then this other side is done, and because we want the edging to be the same as on the other side, we're not going to start edging from this side, we're going to start from the top. So at this point I'll cut off the yarn, chain 1, cut off the yarn, pull through and fasten. So I'm going to work a chain, a strap like this one, and then I'll attach it right here, then do the edging coming all the way down. So slip stitch, slip knot, sorry, start with a slip knot, then chain 4, yarn over, go into the first chain with a double crochet, and those are 2 double crochets, chain 2, chain 3, then in between the 2 double crochets, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in between, chain 3 and double crochet, and we're going to repeat this until we have 70 clusters like we have on the other strap. Then once we're done with the 70, we're going to attach it on top right here. So let me work this and then come back. I have my other strap ready, and I'm going to attach it to the top from this part on the top. So I'll just yarn over, or before that I'll slip stitch. I'll slip stitch into that corner and chain 1, then yarn over and do a half double crochet, and then I'm going to go all the way down the same way we did half double crochets on the other side. I'll go all the way down with half double crochets to this corner at the bottom. Remember to half double crochets into every double crochet row. I've come to the bottom, I'm at the stitch at the corner, so in this one I'll put a double crochet right here and another double crochet into that same stitch, then 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets into the next, and then finally 2 into the next, and the last double crochet will be on that last stitch right there, the last half double crochet, chain 1 and turn. So the straps are attached, the edging on the sides is done, so we're going to do the final edging at the bottom of the top. At this point, after chaining 1, I'll do a single crochet into that gap down there, then chain 3, go back into that gap with 3 double crochets, then into the next single crochet, then chain 3 and go back into the same gap with 3 double crochets, into the next single crochet, chain 3, then 3 double crochets. The next one, single crochet, chain 3, then 3 double crochets right there. The next gap gets a single crochet, chain 3, then 3 double crochets. And this is the pattern we're going to repeat till we get to the end. So this is how the bottom part of the top is going to look like, and repeat in each of these gaps until you get to the end. And I'll meet you there to complete the edging. When you get to the gap at the middle, you're going to skip it and move over to the next one. So this middle gap, we're not working the edging onto it. I'm in the last gap, so I'm just going to do the cluster of the 4 double crochets. And now to complete this, we're going to slip stitch onto this first stitch right here, or the last on the edging, the first on the edging on this side. Do a slip stitch, chain 1, and cut off the yarn. Pull through and fasten. And now this is what we have. The top is done. All you need to do is weave in the ends. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. If you've liked the tutorial, kindly give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. And if you get to recreate this, kindly do not forget to tag me onto your social media pages. The link to my pages is in the description box below, so be sure to check it out. And see you in the next tutorial.